So today I have to say I struggled recording this video. I don't know why. I think because I really didn't want to focus on the math of when to claim Social Security. If you've been watching the series so far, the first week I went over how much do you actually need to fund your life and to figure out what expenses you have now that you may not have in retirement, but you may have additional expenses in retirement. Last week, Mike and I talked about quite a few different things. You can go back and check out the link in the description that has the playlist. So today, when I started going over my notes, I just didn't want to do the math. I wanted to talk about claiming benefits from a different perspective. So as I kind of went over in the first video, it's about what do you need that money for? What part of your life is Social Security benefits going to fund? Because when I started to look at my decision, because I did claim at 62, I took a few things into consideration then because I've been collecting for a year now, that if it was now, I might consider a few more things, but back then I looked at my cumulative benefits. How much was I going to collect over my lifetime? And I took my life expectancy to maybe 85 or 90. I don't remember. But not the month to month difference, but I annualized the difference. So we're going to continue. This is video 3 of the series. And today we're going to look at claiming benefits from a different perspective. So I'm Sherry from SherryLouMiller.com. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I use money as a resource and a tool to support the other things that I want in my life, material as well as experiences. So that's where I want to focus on today. So today is all about when you're looking at claiming your benefits, let's just step outside the box a little bit and look at what is it that you want for this season as far as experiences. You know, we've worked most of our lives, most of us, and we probably all looked at the time when some, maybe not all, when we're no longer going to be in corporate America or working, and we're going to use this time to focus more on ourselves. We've thought about that. And what does that look like? And what role does Social Security play in that vision? Because in my opinion, the Social Security benefits, as I started to focus on today, because I didn't end up using the notes that I had jotted down, because as I was looking it over, it just wasn't what I wanted to talk about. So back to my thought. When you look at that, Social Security is just a piece of that puzzle. It is not the entire picture for me. It plays a role, definitely. And I decided to claim at 62 because, yes, I did need the income. My business revenue had slowed down and I needed to supplement my income. And I realized while I was researching that if for some reason I exceed the amount that the government allows, because they do allow you to still earn income after you start collecting, in 2026 is 24,480. So I believe every year is adjusted for cost of living. So in addition to your benefits, if you're someone in my bucket, on my playground, I'm not looking to sit around and not do anything. As you see, I'm still actively building a business, and so I can still earn income. And one of the reasons that I left corporate America before age 62 is because I wanted freedom. I wanted time freedom and I wanted money freedom. And although I had a job where, because I worked for smaller companies, every job has this thing, but for the most part, I got along with all my coworkers. Up until maybe the last year, I really enjoyed what I was doing. But, I always say, I just didn't want to be in corporate America. I have always wanted to build my own legacy. And doing it as a side hustle after work is not the same experience as focusing all of my time and energy on what I want to do, spending my time on things that bring me joy. So those are things that I considered when I decided to leave. And they're also things that I took into consideration when I decided to claim my benefits, because now I'm realizing the gurus are saying what they're going to say, the statistics are what they are, but my life experiences, my life choices are mine. They're unique to me, and so are yours. So as I was thinking over this decision, I looked at my time. At 62, more years behind me than in front of me. Even if I live as long as my mother did, I still don't have that much time in front of me. So how do I want to spend those years where I'm delaying? And for me, it was more about time and lifestyle choices. So time is finite. You can't get it back. Once it's gone, it's gone. Those years are gone. Money, as you've been following my channel, I've had my share of financial struggles, but I have the opportunity as a business owner with unlimited income potential. So even if I have to pause my benefits or Social Security pauses them as I report additional income, I thought that money just like went away, but it doesn't. If for some reason they start to withhold because you're earning too much, they recalculate at full retirement age. So that amount is adjusted. You're not forfeiting that money. So these are all the things I took into consideration when I was making my choice. But the biggest thing was, how did I want to live? So instead of focusing on statistically, or not statistically, because it actually is a difference of full retirement benefits versus claiming earlier, it was more, what did I want during those years? What did I want to do? 5 years makes a difference. 5 years ago, I wasn't having all the aches and pains and all the things I'm having now. I still get around, but there is a difference from 5 years ago. So fast forward 5 years, what will that be like as far as my health, my mobility? And as Mike said, I want to travel too, and I want to travel to Europe, specifically Portugal. I have never been outside of the country, outside of Canada. And over in Europe, those cobblestone streets, and Portugal has some really steep hills. I want to be able to walk up and down the streets um, with ease for the most part. So by delaying it, what is it costing you? So that became my question for today's video. People are always talking about leaving money on the table. But my question is, what life experiences are you leaving on the table by delaying? Because like I just said, delaying 5 years, depending on what your desires are, what your vision is, what will you, it could affect the things that you do, depending on where you are now. And so that's what my decision was based on. Where I am now. What is it that I want right now? What is it that I see for next year and next year? And if you watch my personal curriculum, I want to go to Italy for an extended period of time, 90 days. And I'm going to use my Etsy shop to fund that. I'm actually going to do a video on it, so I won't spend a lot of time on it right now. But those are the things. I looked at my time. I looked at the lifestyle I wanted. I looked at what do I want the financial resources associated with Social Security to pay for. And that came into my decision-making process more than just the difference of the monthly benefits. Because as I said, I annualized my benefits. I looked at, okay, claiming at full retirement age, at which point you can earn unlimited. So I looked at that, and then I'm not collecting for 5 years. I annualized the difference, and it just wasn't enough for me not to move forward with claiming my benefits, especially since right now in this season, I did need the income. So just step outside of your box for a minute and go beyond the math of 67 minus 62, and look at other aspects of that decision, mostly time. because time is finite. And what is it when you envisioned your retirement years ago? How did you see that? And now that you're approaching it or you're in it, does your lived experience right now, is it even close to what you imagined it would be? And if it isn't, then every day, what can you do to get yourself closer to that? And does delaying your benefits bring you closer to that? Then if it does, then delay the benefits. If claiming them right now would get you closer to that vision, then claim them now. I'm just saying, don't make this decision just so black and white. I rarely operate in a gray area. And for me, I guess this was more black and white, but for some people, you may not think like me, because my main thing, and I have said it a lot over the course of this channel, money is a tool, it is a resource, it finances and it provides the other things that I want in my life. So when I am making a decision, I really look at the other things, and then I figure out, how does money factor into that? Because usually it does. And don't get me wrong, when money is flowing, life is a lot better usually. And when it's tight, it's not that I'm unhappy, but different choices for for depending on where the money is, it's a different decision making process. So that's what I want to leave you with today. When you're looking at your choice, and this is my version of how I claim Social Security. I looked at my time and I looked at the life that I wanted to live, and I figured out, how does Social Security factor into that? Now, last week, like I said, Mike, his was he wanted to travel. He wanted to still be able to enjoy his travel as far as his health and mobility. My next guest is coming on. She is still deciding when to take benefits and when to retire. And so that was why in the series I wanted to do 2 different interviews from a couple of different perspectives, including my own. Mike, definitely, because one, he's a man. Sometimes the decision for men and women, we go through different decision-making processes. And he's married, so he had to take into consideration his spouse too. Whereas I'm single, and my guest that is coming on, she is also single. So our decision-making process is just about us, what we want and what's going to be best for us. So that's what I'm going to leave you with today. When you're making the decision, and even if you've already made it, because like I said, Social Security does still allow you to earn income. And for me and some of the people that are probably following me, it's not that we're retiring where we're not going to do anything to earn income. We're just deciding that the first chapter of our life, where it was attached to being an employee or even maybe running a business full time, in this season of our life, we're scaling back, and it's more about the enjoyment of life. It's more about the experiences of life, and it's more about doing things that bring us joy. And for me, still working and building my business and building my legacy, that's important to me. So I want to do that, and I want to earn income from it. And I want to earn a lot of income from it. So that's where I'm going to leave it today. Look at what life experiences do you want. Look at the money that will be needed to bring your vision to life. And I want to leave you with this question, and actually comment below your answer. What life experiences are you leaving on the table by waiting for someday? So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.